I just found out that a lot of businesses are being charged over $1,000 a month for their own apps to manage members. So I wanted to see if I could build one out for myself. TLDR, I did. The real thing is that like 70% of this app had nothing to do with this specific business. It was all the same backend. All of that is pretty much the same regardless of the actual business itself. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what goes into these sorts of apps, why I don't publish directly to the app stores, where these things tend to go sideways, and how I was able to pull all the reusable base parts like we were talking about before so that I don't have to start completely from scratch next time. This is the first thing you see, the member side, right? Obviously login is important, so we're gonna sign in. So the first thing I wanted to prioritize with the member screen is just essentially what they opened the app to do, right? See what classes they've got booked, what's coming up, all sorts of things. If there's any notifications or messages from their trainers, they can see that right away. Also, I didn't want to turn this into a giant promotional screen, but I did want to give them the opportunity to like quickly book private training. It's a business. We want to make sure that this is working for everybody, right? Go down here, you can check the schedule and sign in to whatever classes you want. As soon as you sign in, it puts you on the staff roster, and then you get a notification a little bit later. I'll get an email here saying that I'm logged in, as you can see, right? Class booked. And then there'll be a notification an hour before class, obviously. Pretty straightforward here. Just book your classes. Community is like upcoming events, announcements, and then the store. This is kind of what it's all about from the gym perspective. You want to make sure that it's really easy for your members to renew, to pay their bills, to like buy different products and have the opportunity to like spend more money if they want to, you know what I mean? Rather than just like the member management, booking classes, that kind of thing. This is very, very important and often overlooked. And lastly, I wanted to make sure that you could get support as a member, right? Reach out to either your trainer or the staff, but I didn't want it to get weird, so you could send DMs. So it's more or less just like member support to the gym as a whole, where you can click on this guy here and ask simple questions like, what do I need to bring to my first class, for example, that kind of thing, right? Moving over to the other profiles, like in this particular case, it's like trainers or coaches, right? You don't need the store page shoved in your face. Really what you need to see is like what classes you've got lined up, like your schedule, or notifications from members, like we were saying, or internal notifications from like your boss or other coaches or whatever. Like you can check that out here, or like notifications about, hey, I'm not going to make it in today. Can you cover my class? That kind of thing, right? Schedule is down here. This is my classes and all classes. Very straightforward. You can go and sign people in, say no show, late, right? Especially helpful with like private training and stuff. It's like if you no showed, then that's a bad thing, obviously. Then if you sign in as an owner, the workspace changes. Again, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't overwhelming, but still comprehensive enough that you could actually run your business from this page. So up at the top, this is like quick create, where you can send gym updates or push notifications to members, do different offers, invite staff, or send messages to the team if you like hire people or want to give notifications that way. Obviously, all the gym daily operations are in here too, where you can sign members in or out. But also optics are huge, right? Making sure that you can keep track of like if anybody's past due or renewals are coming up, or if members are slipping, like they haven't signed in the last 2 weeks or whatever, you can send them a note, be like, hey man, you know, everything okay? How can we make you more comfortable? Like just customer service stuff, right? You can change the schedule, assign different trainers to different classes, that kind of thing. Inbox is exactly the same. And then get support. I put like my own email in terms of like feature requests, feedback, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's the app. That's where we landed. I really tried to keep that concise, but it is one platform with 3 separate workspaces depending on who logs in. And feature-wise, it is one-to-one, if not even a little better than the comparable $1,000 a month app. From the outside, this looks like a pretty straightforward like scheduling gym phone front-end app, right? But like underneath it, that's where stuff gets really annoying, and it's not just like a cool little mock-up, but like where things actually start to come together. Like every single time you're gonna have authentication, shared databases, 3 permission levels, booking state, attendance, email, push notifications, service workers, hosting, it just keeps going. Eventually payments as well too. Actually, that's, you know, important for the business side of this whole service business app thing. All that stuff on the back end, all that annoying stuff is where what I'm showing you today really breaks away from what is typically on YouTube, right? All of these really impressive looking videos where it's like this new AI model just one-shot my entire app. They don't actually work because they're just like neat mock-up front ends, but all of that important stuff in the background isn't there. But before I talk about those reusable parts and the mandatory backend for this to properly work, I need to talk about another decision I made as to not going directly into the app stores. This is actually a PWA, which stands for Progressive Web Application, and why why that is preferable to start out for most local businesses. Very quick detour, PWA stands for Progressive Web Application, and it's essentially a browser app that you can install to your phone. You open up a link or scan a QR code, and then you add it to your home screen. It's got its own icon, and it pops open like the app that you just saw. Most often, you can't even tell the difference. The benefit here is you can just launch it once and immediately start testing on people's phones, whether it's Android or iOS. You don't need to submit for review to the App Store. You don't need to have updates approved or get a developer account or anything like that. And if you're not aware, pushing apps to these different app stores is kind of a pain in the ass. So there's that. And also, most local businesses like this don't even need App Store discovery anyway. They know where their customers are, right? Like for the gym example, you could put a QR code at the front desk. People go to the gym, or on sign up, you could send them a link or whatever. They just download the app directly. This is great. I would much rather ship something useful, get real owner feedback before I go and ask Apple for permission to put this on the store, right? To get this to work properly, there's actually a lot that goes into it. It's not just a Google Sheet or something in the background to handle, different logins and permissions, payments, email, push notifications, install it like a proper app. It's an iceberg. This chalkboard illustration is the entire app structure. You can take a screenshot of this or whatever, and this is how it all comes together. The app itself, like the front end and the thing you scroll around on, is React and Vite. It's the PWA that we're talking about. You don't actually need to know a lot about it. This is the easy part with the AI coding, and this is like extensively covered on YouTube. If you go into Claude Code or Codex or whatever, and you're like, build me an app front end, it'll do that, no sweat. And this is like the fun part, the design. The sneaky part is you can give a cloud address to whatever it is you build out with Claude Code or Codex or whatever your coding assistant is on Vercel for free. Vercel does lots of stuff. For our purposes though, we're just gonna focus on the fact that it hosts static pages and apps for free. Saves us a bunch of money. And the heavy lifting for that dynamic backend that we were talking about is pretty much all done in Supabase. It's an amazing platform if you're uninitiated. It's essentially like your entire backend in one spot, right? Like it handles authentication, handles data, handles edge functions, which if you're not aware are like custom code snippets or API calls or just like cool automations, like anything extra, right? Also handles security, handles the database. It's the complete package, and it offers a very generous free tier. There haven't been many projects where I've actually had to upgrade to a paid service. So I mean, if you're keeping score, that's front end and back end, Vercel and Supabase hosted for $0 overhead. So far, so good, right? We don't just want like an app and a database in a bubble, right? We're running a business. We want to make sure that we can take payments, members can buy stuff, right? They're getting email confirmations, push notifications if there's something that comes up or whatever. And again, this is where things get a little bit more involved, but we've got services for those as well. But to start with email notifications, I use Resend for that. It is my favorite platform for this application. It's the best one I've ever found for it. Got a really, really generous free tier again, and it's pretty straightforward to set up. For push notifications, I use OneSignal, and this is a platform that I've only recently discovered, but I'm actually like super, super happy with because it covers a lot. It's got push notifications, in-app messages, email, and SMS. Obviously, there's a little bit more wiring with email and SMS, but under the free umbrella, you get unlimited push notifications. It's also got an MCP server. Moving on to payments, there are a lot of options, like so many options, but I feel like one of the more widely used ones is Stripe, so that's what we went with for our purposes. Obviously, you could use Square or Wise or Halcyon or Moneris or PayPal, or like I said, there are so many options. How it generally works though is like when a Stripe payment goes through, it sends a webhook back to Supabase, so it can make notes of different member payments or, let you know exactly what people are looking to buy, and you can fulfill it afterwards. And that would work obviously too with some of the other platforms that I mentioned. Most of them have MCP servers, all of them have APIs, and they want to make it as easy as possible for you to sell stuff because that's how they make their money too. And then just kind of as a cherry on top, like I was saying before, if you do want to eventually push these to the App Store, you can use this repo called Capacitor. So here's kind of where this video took a turn, right? Because I set this all up for my gym. I was just, gonna make a video about how to do this for service businesses, but I looked at this and none of this is actually like gym or boxing specific, right? All of this is the same. You'd have to do this regardless of what you were building an app for. And that's like way more interesting than just like building out a service app. Like, how do I make this reusable so that I can do this over and over again for whatever business needs it? Like take this architecture and have like a save state almost, you know what I mean? Where like 70% of the stuff you're gonna do anyway is already there, and then you just like do the unique features to whichever business at the end. So honestly, that's what I did. I shifted my focus and I started working on that product, that save state, instead of just individual apps, leaving you guys with two honest options if you want to follow in my footsteps. Okay, I've given you the architecture so that you can build it yourself. You know exactly what pieces to use, how to put these together. Or if you'd rather cut in line and just like start from that reusable save state that we've been talking about for this video, I'm packaging that up as I'm recording this right now. I'll give you the working foundation, the setup instructions, and the structure you need to turn this into a working app for your clients. You can add their branding, their different unique elements. Full disclosure, this is going to be a paid offer, but I'm gonna make sure that I structure it so that one client covers your upfront costs, and then after that, you're making money. We're just finishing up user tests, so I can't offer it to you today, depending on when you're watching this, but the idea is you sign up for those platforms we listed above, add your keys, run the setup, good to go. There'll be something below where you can sign up to get first access to this pre-built app save state, right? And definitely keep me posted what you guys are actually building out with this stuff. Like, I love hearing what you guys are getting after. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you like this video, you're gonna love this one here. See you in the next one.